where we drink, smoke, and bullshit about the life of a historic criminal. Now we're talking outlaws and gangsters. We're not going to cover too many serial killers. That's just a little bit dark for me, and this ain't no true crime podcast. Honestly, you can't call this a history podcast because I'm no historian. I'm just a history fan that does some research and bullshits about it with his friends. So speaking of my friends, let me introduce you to my co-host. So first with us today, we got Tank.
Hey everybody, ready to roll.
And then also with us today, we got Lorraine Mclain.
Hello.
And then on the fourth mic with us today, we got Dan.
Hey, what's up?
All right, welcome to the show, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, welcome to you.
You want to kick us off beer-wise over there, Tank?
Kick it!
I had a Oddtoberfest from Oddside Ales on the west side of Michigan. Oddtoberfest is a Marzen. It's like one of the traditional Oktoberfest brews, I guess, or the traditional. And yeah, it's pretty good representation of that style. This one isn't as sweet as others. I dig that about it. This one goes down smooth. Normally Marzens are on like a little bit of a sweeter side. This one you could taste the sweet, but it's not overpowering, and I enjoy it.
Does it linger?
A little bit, but
Do you have to
it's not overpowering.
What about you, Dan? What do you got?
Well, I started off with a little Leinenkugel's Lemon Haze IPA. Good old summertime beer. We're in the midst of summer, so it's a good one. But speaking with Tank, Beer Master Flex over here, and since this one's a little on empty, he's gonna do a little razzle dazzle. Reach to his little magic bag that he has. Something a little special. I have no idea what it's gonna be. Hit me with it. What do you got, Tank?
Right on. 70 plus West Coast IPA.
Ooh, if you're under 70, you're a bitch. 70 plus.
Yeah, Old Nation, man. You know me. I love the Old Nation brews. On my way back, I stopped in Old Nation. It was awesome. I finally made it to fucking Old Nation, and they weren't letting people inside.
Oh.
I wasn't smart enough to call first, but what was cool was you could still pick up fresh 4-packs from them. So I grabbed a couple styles I never had. This is their West Coast IPA style, and
Damn, you're all about that West Coast tonight. Are you Ice Cube? Are you the West Side Connect gang?
West, y'all.
Are you guys sharing that?
Yeah, anybody trying to get down on this 70 plus? I'll only go 35.
Well,
But,
I brought Mudslide. It's from Kahlua.
We didn't even ask you.
I don't care. I needed a sip.
How was your mudslide?
Very tasty.
Is a mudslide take
Smooth.
you down?
So I got this cover crop. It's from North High Brewing Company, and they get their malt and their hops from the Ohio Farm Bureau.
It's from the Ohio State.
It's got the little upside down beer bottle that Tank taught me meant independent brewer. So
I love how you keep on just calling it the upside down beer bottle, not the it says independent right on it.
I don't do good with words though, but I see that upside down beer bottle and I know
You
right
can't
away.
see what it says.
I don't beer shop with my reading glasses, okay? I can't see that.
I know silhouettes, not letters.
Well, before we get started, I got to make sure I take the time to thank Sixfo Swaino for letting us use his music in the intro. And then I want to thank Cancer for letting us use his song in the mid-roll. You can follow them both on Instagram, Sixfo. It's spelled F-O-E. And Cancer, the E is a 3. It's Cancer the God. So I want to plug a couple podcasts before we get started, too. We've had an influx of new listeners lately, and a lot of people are listening to our podcast that don't listen to a lot of podcasts at all. So if you're into our show, a couple shows that you could check out that are pretty good, that you might like. It's DGMH, is Drinks with Great Minds in History. That's by Zach Tobacco. He's been on a couple of our episodes. It's a real good history podcast. And then another one is Partners in Crime by William Crooks. They kind of bullshit about the stories like we do, except they are considerably more sober and put like some actual production value to their show. So it's kind of like this, but if it was with smarter people.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you don't want that. What makes the show is how stupid we
Is
are.
it funny?
I'm street smart, I tell you.
See, that's so I haven't listened to that one. I mean, I know I have listened to at least a couple of episodes of it, but I would definitely listen to the other one, Zach D'Amico.
Drinks with Great Minds in History.
Yeah, I fucked up his last name. What is it?
Zach Tobacco.
D'Amico. I said D'Amico.
See, he was right. They are way smarter than us.
Yeah, on that one he has like actual psychologists and real historians and like
He featured Locke one time.
yeah.
What can I? Abraham Lincoln the wrestler. When they needed some meathead shit talked about, they're like, "Hey, we got a guy."
We know a dum dum.
Well, we did a little host swap because Zach did one of ours before and shit. Yeah, you listen to that one. He still does some drinking, but they are substantially smarter than we are.
Aw.
I guess
Aw, we're
that's-
so dumb.
We'll work on it, you guys.
It's like a kindergarten cop. Do you know anybody that's not smarter than us? I don't know that many people.
I mean, this kicked off by him not knowing letters, but just pictures. So
Boys have penises, girls have vaginas.
But yeah, I would check out either of those podcasts, Partners in Crime or DGMH. It'd be a good place to start, especially if you're into this show. Partners in Crime, they do most exclusively gangster, so we get a lot of listeners that listen to the gangster shit, but they're not as into some of the other stuff. So you could listen to them in the meantime to fill in the non-gangster episodes.
but if you want whorehouses and pirates,
Then we're your guys.
come here.
This is the spot. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And the bad guy we're covering today is Victor Lustig.
This ain't negotiation time. This is Scarface, final scene, fucking bazookas under each arm. Say hello to my little friend.
Lustig.
Vicky Lust.
I like how he said it like he was coming down the aisle at a WWE event and shit.
So we got Victor Lustig, a.k.a. Count Victor, a.k.a. Robert V. Miller. And honestly, his real name might be Robert V. Miller, but it's one way or the other. So
Yeah, but who the fuck wants to be Count Miller? No, Count Lustig is so much... That makes him sound like a real vampire.
Yeah, Count Victor or Count Bob.
So Robert.
Yeah, wants to be Count Bob.
Robert V, and the V is for Victor.
I would hope. What if it's not?
Probably.
What if it's for Val? Like, if you're gonna change your name, you just go whole hog, switch it up completely.
Most of the information about his early life is tough to come by, so that's why I said there's no real proof whether his name was Robert Miller or Victor Lustig, but actually there's no proof that he was ever born or lived at all. Like, he had no birth certificate, no nothing, so...
People didn't care about me till I paid on the count.
Well, we get to a point where he definitely existed and the information checks out 100%. So he was born January 4th, 1890 in Austria-Hungary, which is now known as the Czech Republic.
Oh yeah, back then they weren't taking censuses.
What?
Yeah, that's
The
not even
census.
that's not even a country anymore.
Yeah.
So if it was, even if they
I'm
were,
saying back then they weren't counting babies. Like, of course there wasn't any information. Like, you know how many people probably lived and died they didn't even pay attention to?
That's sad.
That's it. It still happens today, all over the world.
he would tell people he came from a long line of aristocrats raised in castles and that his father was the mayor. But in reality, his parents were poor peasants and he grew up in a small home built of stones.
Well, House of Stones, castle. I mean, check right there. And maybe his parents talked fancy.
Loophole, motherfucker. It is a castle. A little baby shitty castle.
But I mean, fuck it. If you were like just living in a pile of rocks with your shithead parents, I'd be like, I'm gonna make some shit up. I'm not gonna tell people this is what's going down.
The first one's featured on Tiny Homes.
He was like the first one to ever do the like stereotypical fucking Count Dracula voice. Like, yes, we are all from Castlevania. My father is a king in Castlevania. It's like that's where it started at.
I don't
and
think
shit.
Castlevania's a real place, Victor. Or no, Robert.
You call me Bobby.
It's very difficult. Only the strong can survive in Castlevania.
Why do you keep on talking about Castlevania, Bob? I don't get it. Keep talking about castles and shit. You live in a rock pile.
As a child, he was described as smart and exceptionally gifted. A lot of his teachers called him brilliant. He was always ahead of all the other kids. But he was also a constant source of trouble. So since he was a little kid, he was always a hustler. And he moved his way up on the streets from being a panhandler to a pickpocket to a street hustler.
One day I will make it all the way to Count.
He is said to have mastered sleight of hand games and card tricks, including palming, slipping cards from the deck, and dealing from the bottom. By his late teens, it was quoted that he could make a deck of cards do anything but talk.
Wow.
See, we're making jokes like Count like it's a title. That's just a nickname because he knew how to count cards.
Right.
Kid's good with numbers.
So his sharp intellect led to him excelling scholastically, and he became fluent in 5 languages. Despite the fact that he spent all his free time gambling and chasing girls, he was able to earn opportunity to go to university in Paris.
Moving on up.
Anywhere in your research did it come across which languages he knew?
Well, I know he speaks German, French, and English. Would
Okay.
be 3, so I don't know what
The
else.
big 3. That's what you mean.
Probably Czech or Slovak, wherever he's
I
from.
mean, I would hope that would be on the list. What the fuck's with this kid? He just speaks French and English.
Self-taught.
Yeah. He just plays cards, takes my money, and says au revoir. What the fuck?
So he was able to do good in school.
I love it. This kid's the fucking Czechoslovakian Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault. No, man, not you. It's not your fault. Hey, how about those apples that we have to import here because apple trees do not grow?
He was able to excel at college, and he put in really little effort. He just was always... School came real easy to him.
Ah, yes, professor. He asked me a question, I give him an answer. Meh.
He spent a lot of time chasing girls in Paris. At the age of 19, while in Paris, he received a significant 2.5-inch scar across the left side of his face from the jealous boyfriend of a female companion.
That is significant.
Wow.
I've never heard a scar get significant. It really matters.
There were a lot of scar faces back in the day.
But I can just imagine this French dude who's just pissed. Just this Yugoslavian comes to town stealing all the girls from all these dudes. Like, the fuck's this guy's deal? He's fucking all our ladies.
Get out of here, buddy.
I shall count all the ladies I have fucked. 1 girl, 2 girl, 3 girl.
He made the mistake of thinking the French dude was soft and shit. Like, the guy fucking sliced him up.
What's crazy is the big scar on his face where he came from in Austria-Hungary. If you look at a lot of like World War I, the Eastern Europeans or a lot of the Germans and stuff, a lot of them, the officers and the aristocrats and the people like that, they would have giant scars on their face because they used to duel a lot. And it was almost like a sign of being
Oh, okay.
Oh.
royalty.
Like cauliflower
shit.
ear nowadays.
Yeah, kind of like a cauliflower ear thing.
And
But
I mean,
way more significant.
And you,
Yeah,
and you're
more
meaning,
royal.
and we're talking about like pistol dueling, right? Not dueling with like fucking swords and shit.
No, they were doing with swords.
Oh, okay, damn, even fucking more gangster.
Wait, they were just out there pistol whipping each other?
Well, no.
How would a gunshot
I'm
result in a
sorry.
scar?
Like believe me, like I mean, I'm slightly green when it comes to guns. So I remember a point in time when I was told, you know, guns were terribly inaccurate and they weren't powerful and shit. So I actually in my mind for a second there envisioned like that you could duel with some pistols and just end up with cheek scars and shit. So I mean, I mean the Olympics just passed. I thought about swords and shit, you know, like the badass fencing and shit where you're watching them on TV like, fuck, if this shit happened in real life, somebody's going to the fucking hospital every day. You know what I mean? So I could see if some fancy fucking Nancy boy back in the day got his juice from his little fucking 2-inch scar he got away from once when he was 13 and shit. And he was parading it out in his pictures like he was, you know, every day he was catching one. But either way, I don't fight with swords. So that is kind of cool no matter if you were a Nancy boy from fucking 1895 or whatever and shit.
You have taken all of our ladies, now we duel, but with BB guns, okay? We do not want to get crazy, okay? We hit ourselves in head, they bounce off, leave you with significant scar. But I mean, it's okay. We still use guns because we men. But, you know, with guns, we're trying to go home tonight, you know what I mean? Let's not get crazy with these firearms, all right?
Let's use rusty bullets.
Yes.
So, despite his high intellect and charisma, he had little interest in honest work and he wanted to travel the world. So he finishes school and he takes whatever he had left of the money, he was able to hustle up from his side hustles, and he buys a couple nice outfits, a couple custom tailored suits, and a first class ticket to a luxury ocean liner from Paris to America.
I would want to travel the world too. Like, he came from a stone hut. He hustled his way, came to Paris, got a cool fucking dual scar, or just French dude stabbed him up real quick, humping all these French ladies. Like, yeah, you go home or you continue moving on. I'd ease on down that road too. Like, fuck you going back home for?
Oh yeah, at this rate, he's trending towards like actually living the shit that he used to tell people that it was true when he was younger. So yeah.
Hey, back home, they found out his dad wasn't really the mayor and stuff. He doesn't want to have to go back to deal with that. You know what I mean?
So he felt like he wanted to get all this clothes and stuff. He seen it as an investment. So he spent everything he had on his his first class ticket and his outfits. And he gets on there and really figured, because I need first class, because if I'm going to get this whole long ass trip alone with these people, there's no way I can't play some cards or figure out how to get some money out of these people. What he did, now over time he would end up using over 40 aliases and backstories, and he was known to carry like a dozen passports at a time.
All on that one boat. They're like, hey, you talked to Steve? Yeah. Wait, he said his name was Doug. No, he was Bobby. No, he's Victor. Like, everybody got a different name. Like, we're on one boat, buddy. Like, everybody got a different name for him.
His first kind of persona that he went with, and his biggest one that he would stick with over time, was Count Victor. So he was Count Victor, this rich guy from Austria-Hungary.
I mean, when you straight go with that name, why would you change it?
His game plan was basically he would just hang out and be smooth and really aloof and just act real important and not fuck with anybody or talk to anybody and shit.
That is like the dream. Like, doesn't everybody have that game plan?
Fake it till you make it.
I'm just going to act cool in the corner and not talk to nobody. That's my shit.
Billiards? I think I've heard of this game.
Then he gets down, hits it like fucking triple rails, hits in the pocket perfectly, sinks the 8-ball right off the brick. I don't know, lucky game.
He was described as 5'8", 145 pounds.
Little baby.
Aww.
He was not the hand-kissing type of bogus count. Instead of theatrical, he was always reserved, dignified, a noble man. This is in an FBI document. He was described as an elegant scoundrel and as elusive as a puff of smoke.
Who's this guy, Han Solo? Was this FBI working on his romance novels? Like,
Well, because
he was very elegant and smooth. His words were like silk as he spoke his many languages. As he would come through and tell everyone he was a count. But not one of those goofy hand-kissing counts. Oh no, that wasn't him. He was quiet, dignified, sullen.
You're going off the rails.
Brought them...
of the crazy train.
Choo choo.
So on his boat, his targets were typically new money Americans.
What does he mean, like lotto winners?
Well, no, just people that went to America and struck it rich and haven't had money for a long time. He's coming from Europe, where they got rich people that have been rich for
palatial
centuries
estates and shit. Yeah,
that castle money, son.
Right. That was funny. All those count jokes we made at the beginning, I forgot like count was like an actual fucking like noble term back in the day. So now I feel like a giant dumbass. But anyways.
Well, this is early. This is only like 1909. There was still counts at this point.
Yep.
I remember back when count used to mean something.
Ooh. So he'd hang out in the first class lounges and decks and get to know people over the course of the trip. But he'd never discuss how he made a living. He'd just always say, well, I don't want to talk about it.
Little this, little that. I have my hand in many pie.
What he would do is over time is he would want to capitalize on like Americans' love for show business. And he would say that he was producing these giant Broadway shows, talk about, I do all these successful shows and they're, being ported across the world and they're coming from Paris and I just take these first class trips and just roll in those money, you know what I mean? Because I'm just slinging these Broadway shows left and right, but I don't like to talk about it. So that's why I try and play it cool.
I don't think he really does Broadway shows because he referred to it as slanging them. Something doesn't check out.
So then he just mentioned like these huge projects with these big returns, but then he would always turn down like potential investors and blow it off. And then eventually he'd privately offer limited availability before disembarking. He would take their money for their investments, and they would swap their information, and then he would take all their money, and then he'd leave, and then he'd get on another ocean liner going back from America to Paris, and then do the same thing.
Wow.
Wow. How long did that last? You'd run into the same people eventually, right?
Like, I gotta pick some new cities.
I'm thinking of the Staten Island ferry where you all go together. Most of them come back.
He just comes right off the boat, sees him like, "Hey, Victor!" Whoop! Goes right back on the boat. Takes off again.
Like a cartoon, he hops in a lifeboat, starts fucking rowing all fast and shit.
He would do it for years.
Wow.
So there wasn't a whole lot of overlap because, a lot of these people, they're like moving to America, or there's just so many different boats. Like, people that were going one way weren't the same people that were going the other way. And he kind of refined his cons depending on which direction he was going or what the situation was. He really liked to go with Count Victor, but he would also go with, like Broadway producers. He would do, like, a lot of times he'd impersonate a businessman and do, like, have these giant real estate investments, but it was always the same scheme. Just pretend like he was too cool to talk to you until you needed to know what he was doing so bad that you're giving him $10,000 and he's going back to Paris.
Yep.
So he would neg people into giving him money. Like, I mean, if you want to give me your money, I can get you more money. But I mean, whatever. Don't even give me your money. I don't even care. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna give me money, I mean, I can get you more money. Either way, my name's Steve.
You ever paint a fence? It's really fun. You should try it. Here, I'll let you try mine.
Ooh, he be on that Tom Sawyer shit. I mean, his whole hustle is, all right, I'm gonna act real cool, get these people to give me their money, and then just yoink, and leave. He fucking Jake Paul'd, I got your hat, and like, just took off.
Doing this so often, he would eventually start to pay off crew members and, bartenders and staff on board these cruise ships.
Oh.
Wow.
That would make it easier.
So now he's like employing people and shit.
Makes sense, man.
I mean, eventually, like you said, there's so many people going on and off these boats. The only ones to stay would be the crew members, and eventually be like, "This motherfucker's back on this boat again." They're the ones to probably feel, "Yeah, that's Steve." Like, "Oh, his name's Doug." Like, "No, his name's Bob." "Oh, is Vic?" Like, they would be the ones to catch on.
It's going to be new turnover on the people,
Yeah.
as far as the riders. But yeah, the staff is going to be like, "This motherfucker is always,
Yeah, good observation.
he lives
man.
on this boat." So he did it for about 6 years. He just did the same scam, robbing rich people and stacking money. And then,
I mean, if it works, why move on?
so during World War I, most transatlantic travel stopped due to U-boats. So he decided to set up shop in America, and he would travel from city to city working a variety of cons. He kind of took America by storm because he had a much different approach than American conmen at the time. He referred to his targets as marks, not suckers, and he preferred to carry himself as a gentleman instead of a thug.
So, but he's the one that brought over calling them marks? Or I wonder if that was just like a European thing in general. 'Cause I
Right.
feel like calling people marks. That's like,
This Marcus booster. Let's get him.
look at this mark-ass trick. Trick-ass mark.
His scams would include fake horse races, bogus real estate investments. He was known to...
Wait, these aren't horses. These is rabbits. Like, what the fuck is a fake horse race? Like, I understand scamming people on a real horse race, but you do a scam. How do you scam a whole fake horse race?
He just set up these big fake horse races and take all the bets and all the money and all the advertisements and stuff. And then
How the
everybody
fuck
show up,
these-
he'd just be on to the next town with all the money. And shit.
Fucking A, man. What a fucking genius.
Let's try
That's
that.
awesome.
Throwing horse races, that's for chumps. No, I throw whole fake races. In tight situations in business meetings, he was known to fake seizures and heart attacks to get out of tough situations.
That's a good one, too, because it's at the point of, like, medical technology where you could probably get away with that shit if you're a good actor.
He's like, oh no, hold on. Oh, my left arm, it go numb. Oh no, look at here. Oh, you're still here? Oh, yes, it does. It still hurts. It's still, oh, you're still here. Okay.
What happened? I thought there was a horse race. Oh, it was the next city over, and you all lost. Oh, I'm having a heart attack. I'm sorry.
Oh, Elizabeth, I come for you.
This is a big one.
This is the big one.
Sometimes he would pop over the border to Canada to set up scams over there when he was trying to hide out. And one of his big scams that he worked in Canada, he was there with, he had a guy that was like a partner / sidekick. His nickname was Dapper Don. And he was a circus lion trainer and a trick motorcycle rider.
Oh, fucking shit.
Dapper Don. Oh, fucking Dapper Donnies. Motorcycle riding, lion taming son of a bitch. Dapper Don. He taming lions and he's riding a motorcycle.
We were one vowel away from being a motorcycle riding badass. Dapper Dan, Dapper Don.
No, I can't pull off Dapper.
So they go to Canada, and Count Victor, he finds this rich banker, and he introduces the guy to Dapper Don, but he says it's his cousin Emil. And he tells him that his cousin can delay telegrams by up to 2 minutes. And he says, we can use this to take advantage of these horse races. We can find out the results. He'll delay the telegram by 2 minutes. We can put in the bets, and we'll win every time.
Hey, I don't know about that. That sounds like cheating, eh? That's no good. When we gamble on the up and up, eh?
Well, the guy's like, well, why don't you do it? And he said, look, we got the system, but we don't have the money. You got a bunch of money. And this Canadian banker says that he doesn't believe him. And he's like, well, look, we'll set up a couple. And he's like, all right, let's see if it works. So he just goes down to the track and does like an old school, just pays off a couple jockeys, does some old school race fixing, and goes back to this banker and picks a winner. And he's like, see, I told you it worked. And the guy says, we'll do another one. So he goes and fixes a couple more races, wins another one. And the guy's like, yeah, fuck, I guess you're right, man. This telegram's working. This can work. We can make some money. So he says, okay, we got this set up. It's going to be 30 grand. This guy's a huge underdog. We're going to cash out and make a shitload of money. The guy says, all right, gives him the 30 grand. And then him and Dapper Don jump in a boat and come back over to America.
All right.
And just run off with his 30 grand. Banker was never able to do anything because he couldn't really report wire fraud.
Yeah, you can't call the police on that. That's already happened. That's good. Gave him a couple short stacks, then ran him for all his flapjacks.
It's a tough one too, man. Early 1900s, 30 grand. That's a tough one.
Another one of his schemes was he had scammed a couple property deeds and some Liberty bonds. And he was able to take these property deeds and Liberty bonds, and he went to a bank. And he told him, look, I have this as collateral. I'm starting a farm. I'm going to be like a rancher. But I have all this, but I'm not liquid. So I'll put all this up as collateral for like 25 grand, so I can get liquid and get this thing up and running. The bank says, okay, and they sign the deal. And when they do the swap, he had brought extra matching envelopes, and he did a little sleight of hand trick and switched the envelopes and took back his deeds and his Liberty bonds and the money.
Wow.
Damn.
So he just...
Damn.
Wow.
See? Close-up hand magic is important. Don't laugh at those dorks that do little card tricks. They might steal your property.
He straight up
And your Liberty bonds.
stole that shit from the bank and then bounced out.
So they didn't check before he walked out the door?
No.
That's sweet.
Well, the bank was able to figure it out, though, within, at some point, not right off the bat.
As soon as they open the envelope.
They're not a shady Canadian bank. They are in the right. So they bring in all the security and stuff, and they actually track down Victor, and they arrest him. And they're like, all right, we're going to send you to jail for this. And he tells the bank, well, yeah, but if you do that, once this hits the news, who's going to want to ever come to your bank and invest knowing that you guys are so bad at what you do that we were able to steal so much? Now you're going to throw me in jail, and everybody's going to know, and you're going to throw your whole business under just to put me in jail.
Touche, motherfucker.
I am amazed at this. Like, he just straight up told the bank, like, yes, I mean, you could say I robbed you, but you want people to know you got robbed by me and a lion tamer?
So they tell him, yeah, you know what, you're right. We're just going to pretend like this didn't happen. You just shut up, and we're going to shut up, and we're going to drop the charges.
See, you're talking about the olden days when you can just rip off people with a piece of paper. How about the old days where some fucking European con man can, like, strong arm a bank?
You're getting caught.
Like, now JP Morgan, Chase and shit will fuck you in the ass if you're late on a fucking mortgage payment. This guy's like, hey, I rip you off. Deal with it.
Well, he actually said He actually disagreed, and he said, "You know what? I want $1,000 to keep my mouth shut."
Stop.
Are you kidding me? Oh, this guy's my favorite. This guy is my fucking favorite, dude.
So the bank ended up paying him $1,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement to not talk about having robbed
I
their
love
bank.
this
They
with
were
guy.
anybody.
fucking pissed too about like all the board members and shit were like fucking breaking stuff.
Once
and
he leaves,
shit.
they're like, did we just get again? Like,
Did we just pay him for robbing us?
what just happened there?
And then the Count walked out of that bank as smooth as he walked into this country. Walked out with $1,000 in a smooth briefcase. A free man.
Like, how many followers does he have where he's like, I'll post it on Yelp. You'll never hear the end of that.
Yeah.
Haha, fools on you. Now I tell everybody I rob you and you give me $1,000. Haha, nobody like you, stupid man.
Is he Russian?
No, this Czechoslovakian. I'm Eastern Europe. I grew up in Castle. You shut your face.
His plots and his schemes made him a millionaire, but it
Wow.
also made him a wanted man. So he was wanted in over 40 cities. He'd been arrested dozens of times. Some cities he was only known as the Scarred.
Every time he got arrested, he got paid more money. This guy's so fucked up. He plays Monopoly, go to jail, and the get $200 is the same square.
Though he was arrested dozens of times, he was always able to avoid jail due to a combination of aliases, smooth talking, and daring escapes. On November 3rd, 1919, he married a pretty Kansan named Roberta Norret. They would have a daughter, and he liked to take his family with him on the road when he was doing the schemes, but he kept them like secret off to the side. So wherever they traveled, they'd stay at like the Waldorf Hotel or whatever the fanciest hotel was. And since he felt bad that he was always moving around, he would just shower them with lavish gifts like all the time.
That'll work.
The rest of his money he spent on gambling and on his mistress, Billy Mae Scheibel, who was a high-end madam.
Wow. He's a cheater face.
He used to sometimes put them both up in the same hotel on different floors.
Gross. Really gross.
One time he fucked up and they were right next door to each other. Like, I'm tired. I do not feel like going up and down an elevator all day. It's ridiculous.
One time his wife found out, and she got mad that he had them both in the same hotel. She divorced him and hit him with a car,
Ooh.
and then remarried him.
Remarried him.
Yeah.
I mean, you hit him with a car. It's even.
She's
You
like,
check it
well,
out. It's in the Geneva Convention.
maybe it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
I missed the gifts.
Fucking smooth ass motherfucker, man.
No, the divorce settlement just wasn't what she thought it was going to be.
Oh, this is all illegal money. I can't take it. Okay, I'm just going to stick
Oh,
around.
so I can't stay in the Waldorf? Okay. Oh, I love you.
Just kidding.
Fooling. Who's counting who?
One of his biggest schemes, he ran it across America, but it was also a big scheme that he ran when he was doing like the transatlantic boating. But it was called the Romanian Box.
Okay.
So-
you had my attention. Now you
Billy,
have my
come here, Billy.
attention.
He would hand make these wooden boxes with a slit on each side, and he put like a series of complicated cranks and levers and gears and stuff inside. And then, you know, he'd do the old, oh, I don't want to talk about how I make all this money. I'm just super fancy. And then every once in a while, he'd pull somebody off to the side and be like, look, I don't tell anybody, but I got this box, right? And it duplicates money. Perfect. And then he'd show him. He said it was built off radium technology. He said he invented it, and it uses radium.
You know, like what goes in money.
Radium.
You know, what money's made of. How do you think it get green? Think about it. It's radium.
Like fucking E.T. when they're just like, new microchip technology, and everybody's like, microchip.
How the fuck does this guy, like, you think he just gets high as hell? He's like, okay, listen, I bet you. That, like, it's part of his gambling.
Right.
He gambles other rich people. Okay, I bet you $50,000 I convince somebody. I make a little box, little dumb box, little crank. You crank, tick, 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 tick. It's Jack and box, okay? But you tell him it has radium in it, and it make money. I bet I sell one. I bet I sell 2 dozen. Like, how do you even think about it? Like, these little schemes of getting loans and ripping people off. I'm gonna make a box.
Like, I wish I just had a donation box where people just put money in it.
Yeah. Or his wife
build
was
one.
like, you know what? I wish I just had a box. I can just make one. You know, I can make you one of those. Do you have radium?
Radium?
So what he'd do is he'd put paper in there, and then he'd use his sleight of hand to sneak a couple hundreds in there, and then crank the thing, and then he'd always say it takes 6 hours because the radium, you know. And then while they're waiting, after 6 hours, he'd crank it, and bam, the 100 would come out, and you got your 100, and you got the new 100.
It was a fucking easy bake oven.
He would take them to the bank, you know, and be like, go ahead and deposit it. Give it to the bank. And they put it in the bank, and people be like, dude, it makes real fucking money.
It was an easy bank. It would ding or ding, money done. Ooh, use gloves. It's hot.
People would see it, and they'd be so amazed, and they'd be like, dude, I got to buy it. And he'd be like, no, this is how I'm rich. I can't sell it. And they would keep offering him more and more and more until eventually he'd get the price up so high. He would sell them from between 15 to 40, depending on, you know, supply and demand or whatever.
He was selling the boxes?
Yeah, so, well, he would pretend like he didn't want to sell the boxes, but then at some point he'd be like, look.
I love this. His whole game plan is, no, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, you want to buy? I don't know if I want to sell. Maybe. Okay, man, I guess I could.
I guess.
Like, it's so fucking...
Is that it?
And
It's
what
so beautiful.
Did you say it was called the Romanian Box?
Romanian.
Romanian?
Yeah, with a U. So this one on the left is actually one of Count Victor's Romanian boxes. The one on the right is just kind of like a mock-up of the concept of a Romanian box.
Yeah, that one wouldn't work at all.
Well, he'd always leave 200s in it, so he knew that it gave him at least a minimum of 12 hours to get as far away as he could.
Oh, okay.
It came with a countdown clock.
Well, it'd actually be 18, right? So the first two would work, and then the third one doesn't, and then maybe you just try it again. You know what I mean?
They try it
The next
again,
thing you
so
know,
it's
now
like-
he's
Yeah.
fucking... This motherfucker's in Nebraska.
He's on the fucking boat somewhere. That's for goddamn sure, right?
Yes, hello, this comes Victor. Oh, your box no work? Did you check radium? Oh, there's no radium in. Okay, that's your problem. Okay, come down to warehouse. I'm not going to be there. Dapper Dan should be there. You know, I have business trip right now. But check radium. Everything okay? Bye-bye.
Did your salesman forget to tell you about the radium refills?
One of the most noted examples was a Texas sheriff that he ripped off. This Texas sheriff bought a box, and once he realized it was a fake, he tracked Victor across America, all the way back to
Yeah.
Chicago.
I don't trust that sheriff to keep the justice. This man's dumb
Right.
enough, like...
You were trying to make fake money.
The ranger eventually catches him, and he's like, look, you've sold me this box, and it doesn't work. And Victor's like, dude, let me see. I'll show you. Let me see. And he uses a sleight of hand, slips 100 in there, pops it out, and busts out 100. And he said, see, you just don't know how to work the machine. You chased me all the way over to Chicago. You can't use the machine right. Give me my machine back. Here's your fucking $30,000. Leave me alone. So he takes his box back.
At least
Wow.
he gave him back his money. I thought for sure he'd be like, no, you can't work. You're not worthy of me. Give me back the machine. You don't get it, stupid man. This thing worked fine. Good day to you. I thought he was just going to skirt off and not even give him his money.
When the sheriff got back to Texas, he later found out he was giving counterfeit money.
This
He's like the
motherfucker.
fucking. He's like the sheriff from fucking Dukes of Hazzard and shit.
Yeah.
He's like fucking chasing his tail around the fucking country with all this fucking
Well,
counterfeit bullshit.
well, those dapper boys did it again.
Man, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a sleazeball motherfucker to be able to sneak his way into all this
Dude,
cash from people, but that's some fucking genius methods, that's for sure.
I mean, really, all his scams.
They're fantastic.
Well, the bank one was kind of like that was the first like straight up just illegal like yeah you straight just counterfeited and ripped off a bank, but all the rest of them just sounds like he just hustled people that were dumb enough to believe him. If you bought a box thinking it had uranium or radium and was going to give you free money, like you're a fucking idiot. I don't feel bad for you, especially 30 grand.
That cop's like, haha, at least I got my money back.
Hell yeah, talk about some fucking short-lived celebrations. Like I picture him like shooting guns out the window, like I got my money back. Like they're both like some short-lived ass celebrations. It's fun, motherfucking. Anyways,
You always lose faith in your stories.
You're right.
All your things are
realized
like, anyways, whatever. Man.
that ain't funny. Stop.
All right, we're going to take a quick smoke break, refill our drinks, and we'll be back in a minute.
Shackles to break out of. They cower solo but mob 'em when they crowd us. Spilling in the street with heat like hot lava. Pop bottles, molotovs tossed and rocks follow. Ominous disciples like vipers, they strike quickly. Command me like an army, I'm tearing you down with me. Spit like a baron, rulers of bread like Kaiser. Roll with the goal and get beaten like outsiders. These amateur animals swing in the wrong jungle. Climbing the wrong vines mean these lions will snuff you. Concrete wilderness building our own structures. Writing our own order, appointing our own judges. Overthrowing authority, morally lack conscience. Fighting for survival with rivals with throat punches. Monitor the area carrying curved swords. Slither in the breast till we crush them with brute force. Men storming the harbor with armored attack armaments. Calling all guards to swarm them and skin their faces for ornaments. Order more troops to corner them, Agent Orange and order them. Kill them all, just destroy them and let your guy get to sorting them. Code of honor corroded as soon as it was awarded. Celebrations were thwarted before they could be supported. Rolling thunder bombarded them, flaming dark put a part in them. Separate and disarm them and send the bulls to the parliament. Operation Niagara, Viet Cong on the battle with. Landmines and grenades and flamethrowers to scatter them. Dear mama, this battle is harder than what we thought it'd be. Every part of me scarred, I'll be recognized when they mortar me. It's almost time to run, put on your army helmets now. You're running toward the sun with all your guns, defenses down. Flashes everywhere, the lights create an atmosphere. Water in your lungs, you pray for death, but life is here. You're about to die, face it, you're about to die. Zero sand in your glass, fuck it, you can't even cry. Put a dagger to your neck, just to keep yourself in check. Put a dagger to your neck, just to keep yourself in check. Everybody grab a side as you fight to stay alive. Dancing on a hand grenade so you can die and they survive. Silver bullets in the sky, dropping 7-second death. Scattering the children, run, rub until there's nothing left. Ashes in the water, sons and daughters hold their flags up high. Wallow in the harbor as the military tanks arrive. Penetrate the border with disorder like an animal. Every war has the honor of turning kings into cannibals.
All right, we're back. I got this drink for us to try out.
Is that some kind of chocolate liqueur and whiskey?
Almond.
You're very close.
Oh, okay.
It's called a French Connection, and it's...
Ooh, call me Gene Hackman.
That's what it's named after. It's named after the Gene Hackman movie.
All right.
It's cognac and amaretto. So I specifically use Cavassier and Di Serrona. So it's a 2-ingredient cocktail. And I should have looked it up, but you guys can Google it. But like something in the flavors where the flavors that contradict each other or that cancel each other out, it leaves like the nuttiness of the amaretto with like the fruitiness of the brandy. So just the 2 ingredients get a lot of flavor out of it because of just the compound of it.
Taste it.
Nuts and
Yeah.
fruit.
It's
Classic duo.
It's fucking delicious, man. Good job on that one.
Yeah.
You just whip that up on the break and shit. That's fucking good job, because I would have probably fucked that up somehow.
Well, it's kind of my new drink. I drink them around the house,
All right.
so I can whip one up real quick.
No, I could dig that, because I mean, it's sweet. It's not, it's not overpowering sweet or nothing. So I mean, it goes down easy. You still get the taste of both the ingredients. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you said on one of the episodes one time when we had like the old fashioned, there's one way to do it where you can either try and hide the taste of the liquor or you can showcase it. And I think it kind of showcases the taste. It's for sure a liquor cocktail, but
I
it's got
agree.
some complexities.
Word.
Yeah.
That's my take
Do you
on
love
it.
it?
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. I love
No, it really
Fuck
is.
out of it.
It's good for it to be like two different like liquors and shit. Like it's good. It goes down smooth. Everything that Tank said. Not overpowering. all of the words.
We'll go ahead and get started. Now, when we left off, Victor had made himself a millionaire running schemes and moving his family from city to city across America. But by 1925, he had bigger schemes in mind, and he decided to return to Paris.
Wait, bigger than a radium box that makes money? We're talking that big?
How do you get bigger than that?
While he's in Paris, he trying to come up with some scams, and he reads an article about the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower was originally built in 1889 as the gateway to the World's Fair, and it was originally only supposed to stand for 20 years.
When they put it up, they said this won't last.
Yeah, well, they just said it's this gateway for this thing, so it's going to be, this big gateway, and we're going to have this big World's Fair, and it's like a 20-year project, and
It fooled you.
so now it's 1925. Like, we think of the Eiffel Tower now, we just think of, like, it's this mecca of Paris, and it's what we think of, but at the time, that was still fairly new, and it was supposed to have been gone. And it's big and it's metal, so it takes a lot of upkeep, so it was getting expensive, because it rusts and stuff like that. So, like, a lot of the older people are like, for one, it's ugly. It's in the middle of Paris. We got this giant fucking stupid thing, and then it costs a ton of money to keep it up. So there's this big debate about what they're going to do with this thing. It's not supposed to be up no more. They were able to use it to, like, kind of to send, like, radio signal or something, using radium.
A radium tower.
It's just a big ass antenna.
But that was kind of the only thing that was keeping it going.
The fair's over. What do you want to do with this thing? I don't know. Hook a radio to it?
Oh, and this thing, the architectural style didn't match the rest of Paris.
I just love that all the locals are like that big ugly thing. Everybody hates that thing. It's just an eyesore.
Now they slap sparkly lights on it.
It is just when you buy a house, it's just got like that old shitty antenna that's on the roof. Nobody's bothered to take down because it'd be a pain in the ass to take it down and shit.
Now when you say Paris, that's what you think of.
I think of the
No, you don't.
Louvre because I am sophisticated and I love art.
So he does a shitload of research on the Eiffel Tower and all the rules and the contracts and the situation. And, he goes to, like, a lot of these grassroots operations and meetings, get to feel for, like, the public concept of what's going on with the Eiffel Tower.
Dude, if he swindles his way into owning the Eiffel Tower for like no money, this guy's my hero.
We'll pay you to take it.
He has one of his buddies forge some government paperwork and credentials as a local government deputy director, and he reaches out to 5 of the most prestigious scrap metal dealers in Paris to set up a meeting at a fancy hotel. He brings in all these guys, and he tells them that the French government's going to scrap the Eiffel Tower. We're going to sell it, and we need to sell it for scrap metal. So we just need someone to take it down, and we're reaching out to scrappers because you get the metal for it. So we need to take your bids on what it costs for this.
Oh, so
10,000.
He's posing as the guy in charge to get rid of it?
Yeah, of the Eiffel Tower.
Genius.
And he said
Fucking genius.
This son of a bitch.
he's looking to scrap 10,000 tons of metal. But he also said, because of all the controversy, everything's wild out in the streets, we're kind of keeping it on the down low. So we're kind of doing this bidding process, over here. I'm an official guy, you know what I mean? Here's my credentials and shit.
Hey, I'm a official guy. Look at my have name tag. Look at I know what I'm doing.
My name tag.
I'm official.
So he goes through this big presentation. Some of the guys are interested, some of them aren't. But at the end of the day, the whole presentation was just to spend a day with these guys, right? He hangs out with them for a day and he finds his mark. It was a guy named Andre Poisson. I don't know how you say that. A French guy named Andre. He was actually the guy with the smallest operation. He was the youngest guy.
He's working on a pickup truck. Yeah, me and my brother, we take down some things. You know, you got a fridge, a washer. But I'm trying to get down on this tower thing. I'll take it. It's going to take a lot of trips, but I got a big pickup. It's cool.
He seemed a bit over his head, but he still had a big operation. You know what I mean? And he thought, you know what? This is probably the best guy. So Count Victor meets up with Andre, and he tells him, he's like, look, you're just like me. You know, I'm a low government worker. You know what I mean? You're this hardworking, scrapping guy. And all these guys are going to come blow you out of the water with the bids, and I know how it is. And look, I'm going to be honest. I'm just trying to cash out and get away from this shitty job and go live with my family. So you throw me a little something on the side, and I can make sure that I get your bid selected, because I get to pick the bid. They're going to outbid you, but if you give me 70 grand, I can make sure we take your bid. So Andre's like, this is the bid I need. Like, this is going to change my company. I'm going to get the biggest bid in fucking French history. This is like a big government contract. Fuck yeah, let's do it. So he pays him the 70 grand. They signed a deal. He accepts his bid. He pays for his tons of scrap metal.
So we cash out the bid?
Yeah. So he cash out. He gets one of 70 grand. His bribe.
70.
And
Wow.
he goes and hides out in this carefully elaborate plot that he had to get out of there. So he like went and grabbed a secret fucking passport and went to Austria and checked his family in a different name and laid low and had like different levels of identity protection. He had this planned out for a long time. Like, he had his perfect back plan. This was going to be his big lick. And he goes there in Austria and he's waiting. And he doesn't hear anything for a while. So eventually he starts getting like French, you know, newspapers and shit. And he starts reading up and he still doesn't hear anything. So after a couple months, he starts trying to checking around. And basically what happened was Andre was so embarrassed that when he showed up at the government building to claim the Eiffel Tower, and they were like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Nothing.
He just said out of nothing and didn't tell anybody, and went back and just folded his business and didn't tell anybody that he fucking got fucked over trying to buy the Eiffel Tower.
Nothing to see here.
You know what? Like,
Fucking
I feel
Andre.
bad. That's why I was quiet as you were saying that, because I was laughing at all these people being ripped off, but all of us are like blue collar guys and stuff. He's like a businessman. He thought this is his chance, and we're from Detroit, and there's a lot of city people that do that whole pay to play, like you buy out contracts, like it's like corrupt shit. And the fact that he was getting ripped off, I just felt bad so much. But now it's like, he's the only one that was so smart, was like, yeah, why the fuck did I think I was gonna scrap the Eiffel Tower? What the fuck? He's that dude with the fucking money box. He's what that sheriff should have been. Like, no, dummy, you bought a fucking box you thought was gonna give you money. You're an idiot. The shit that washed over his face in that moment when he walks up, and not even anger, but the realization of, I thought I was gonna scrap the Eiffel fucking Tower. God damn it. Like that
It wasn't
moment
the
where you just
Eiffel
know.
fucking tower then. It was just
Yeah, but I mean,
an eyesore.
yeah, but it still kind of was, because at that point it was like 30 years old. To just still at that moment just realize that, like, it just comes washing over you. Like, yeah, I'm here to scrap this, and they're like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, just,
What did he say?
I'm here to scrap this. Dude, get back in line. We're getting tickets for people to go up there. Like, what
And
the
move
fuck
your
are you-
truck, bro.
Yeah, you can't park here.
You can't park it.
Like, that just fucking sucks. And then I love fucking Count Victor's like, did they see me? He's that dude that's faking asleep, but then, like, keeps on opening his eyes to look. Like, do they think I'm sleeping?
Well, since he made all these like in-depth getaway plans and everything went off smooth, and he really didn't have to do anything, but he'd already put anything in place, he went back to Paris and did it again.
The same thing?
Yeah.
To the same group of guys?
No, a different group of dudes. Now, these guys, he actually didn't get to cash out because he made the deal and sold it again. But before he could cash out, that guy thought something was fishy and told.
You think? That's fucking awesome. I hope there was a couple of the same guys, though. We're in the room. Like, I really hope I get the contract this time.
This time I hope it's mine.
The last time somebody else got it, I don't know what happened. I must have just fell through or something. I don't know what happened, but this time I hope I get it. That's fucking ridiculous. He went back and did the same thing.
So one of his nicknames, I didn't put it in the aliases because it would kind of,
Like,
spoil
Andre
it.
should have, like, maybe not gone to the cops, but at least spread it throughout the little scrapper community.
Don't buy anything from Count Victor.
Yeah.
He's
Nobody
bullshit.
heard anything from Andre? This motherfucker didn't tell anybody anything?
But yeah, so that time he didn't, even though he wasn't able to cash out, he had already had his getaway in place. So he took his money and his family and moved back to Chicago.
He's like, fuck the extra money. I did this one just for shits and gigs, just to see if I could do it. I already had the plan in place either way. This was just for fun.
Oh yeah, but one of his AKAs is the man that sold the Eiffel Tower twice.
2 times. Is Dapper Don still? What happened to Dapper Don?
Dapper Don and him, they worked like as partners on and off quite a bit. So
You can't hold Dapper Don in a corner. You know what I mean?
well, I mean,
He's
the
out
circus
here-
don't run itself.
Yeah.
And shit.
When he's got to go chase that lion's tail, he hops on that motorcycle and heads on down that road. You can't hold Dapper Don down. He's an adventurer. He gets in these little schemes for the fuck of it, for the thrill of the game. But when he needs that adrenaline, he's got to get in the cage with them lions. You can't hold him back.
Speaking of jumping in the cage with lions, when Count Victor gets to Chicago, he starts making a name for himself, and eventually he ends up establishing a meeting between him and Chicago kingpin Al Capone.
No, don't be
Al
ripping
Capone.
off the wrong dudes.
Ooh, has he heard of him before?
Yeah, he knows who he is. I mean, he works in Chicago.
We know who he is.
He's very familiar.
We've heard of him here before.
Every now and then.
He's like Kevin Bacon of our podcast.
They're always 6 degrees away from Al Capone.
all the way from the Czech Republic.
Dude,
Al
if-
still fucking dips his toe in there somehow.
If he tries to sell Al Capone a fucking money box.
He sits down with Al Capone and he tells him about this foolproof investment scam he's got going on. He tells him that for $50,000 he can double his money, which Capone agrees to. Capone and him hit it off. Capone digs him, likes doing business with him, so he gives him 50 grand and they set up this deal.
Is this where the story ends?
And nobody saw him again.
So the first thing Count Victor does is he takes Al Capone's money and he puts it off to the side for safekeeping. And then he comes back 2 months later and he reaches out to Al Capone and he sets up a sit down and says, hey, so the whole thing fell through. I got fucked and I lost everything. But I made sure I cover your 50 grand out of my end. And the investment's done and all the money's gone. But I got you your 50 grand. Al Capone said that Count Victor was one of the best guys that he ever did business with and appreciated being able to do business with real men and didn't want to leave him assed out. So threw him $5,000 for making sure he did business like a man.
Wow. So he tricked him.
Yeah, see, that's what you gotta appreciate his schemes. They really do, like, grow up and down. And he knew he couldn't straight up rip off Al Capone. So he's like, you know what? Still got your money, Al. You don't gotta kill me. Still got it. But, I lost everything. And just did a pity party. Got pity
Dapper
party
Dan,
paid.
hear me out.
I bet you $5,000 I get Al Capone to give me $5,000.
As the Great Depression hits in the early 30s, all his scams dry up because it all involves people with a bunch of cash on hand trying to invest, and all of a sudden money's gone.
All of my marks have killed themselves.
He ends up setting up a business relationship with a chemist and an engraver, both from different states, and they designed a foolproof counterfeit system where the engraver made the plates and the chemist made the chemical compound to come up with perfect counterfeit dollars.
See, at first I was like, a chemist and an engraver, and then immediately it clicked like, yeah, this dude's a counterfeiter. Okay. He's going to make a real box that does it. All right.
They made the most foolproof counterfeit money in American history.
It took
as of today?
It took the counterfeiter and engraver forever to explain. It was like, so you tell me it doesn't take radium. You don't do this in a box? Okay, this is crazy, but I believe you.
They were able to distribute thousands of dollars a week for years. So at one point they had put so much counterfeit money into the system, the Treasury Department became worried it was going to set off the U.S. economy.
Damn. It's like Genghis Khan and his children. Like, they just threw so many in the system. It's like, well, fuck. We've all probably had some counterfeit children. We can't help it.
It's crazy how the government really does follow organized crime. Because, I mean, didn't we just get one of these fucking economy influencing influxes of cash, the last fucking year and a half? So
he was so smooth that even once the Treasury Department, the federal government got involved, they couldn't catch him. So they couldn't figure it out.
This motherfucker's Frank Abagnale.
They knew there was a problem, but they just couldn't fucking get to the bottom of it. Until over time, he eventually starts having an affair with his partner, the chemist's young girlfriend. So he had this like really young, pretty girlfriend. And he starts messing around with her. And then his mistress, Billy May, found out that...
And now she's mad.
She's still in the picture and shit.
Yeah,
He's
that's what I
been
was
transcontinental and back and shit. She's just waiting for him.
I'll give him credit for having like a mistress. He is very faithful to his mistress. Like for him and his wife had a divorce and everything over it. She's like, I'm gonna hit you with this car, but you better leave her. No, I'm going to stick with her forever. It's
I cannot get rid of them. I cheat on them. They get divorced. They come back.
the ladies, they love me. I tell you. No, that's crazy though. He's still with Billy. How many? This is like decades he's been with her, huh?
Yeah, about a decade at least.
That's what he did. He did it just like the scams at the beginning of the episode. He's like, stay with me, don't stay with me. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Her and Billy are best friends now.
They're still, both of them are still waiting to meet the fucking king and queen of Rubblevania, or where the fuck he was lying saying.
Rubblevania.
So when Billy May found out he was cheating, she wasn't dealing with it, and she went to the FBI and reported him. And told him everything.
What?
Snitch.
Billy May has standards.
What?
Don't you cheat on the mistress.
Fuck
Cheat
her.
on the wife, but not the mistress.
No. Get the fuck out of here. His side chick that I just got done saying that he's been with he cheated on his side chick and she snitched. That's how this fucking God Among Men gets taken down? This dude that's ripped off banks, the mob,
Al
the
Capone.
fucking law, everyone, he gets taken down. He's had this bitch in the Waldorf and the suite this entire fucking time. And he cheats on her. This is... God damn. This is ridiculous. I thought maybe the chemist would get pissed and like burn some shit up. Like something crazy would happen with that. No, this bitch snitches on him. After all this shit, he gets away with.
The chemist is like, fuck it, man. I don't want this gravy train to go away.
Yeah.
The scorned lover's like, fuck that. We're burning this shit to the fucking ground. I'm going straight to the FBI.
Salt the earth.
Even his wife ain't snitching.
You know that new bureau that's got all the juice? I'm heading straight for them motherfuckers.
For like even his wife ain't snitching, and she's the one he's cheating on. Like you're the side chick. Like what the fuck?
I know his wife was from Kansas, right? But I'm still gonna do the. What are you doing, Billy? It's sorry.
No, I like it.
I can't do a.
No, you did it. You done did it.
I say go for the Kansas
Do it
accent.
again. Do it again. Oh, Billy. I'll tell you what, man.
What are you doing, Billy?
Where are all these dollar bills
Child.
coming from?
Child.
What are you thinking, child?
Billy, why are you out here always rambling doing your scams? Come down in here, sit in the kitchen, have some sweet tea.
You ain't never gonna meet a man that prints money again, child.
I'm always worried about your scheming and scheming and scamming. Why don't you just sit down and have some sweet tea?
Shug, 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 what were you thinking?
I'll make you a big old plate of cornbread. You just eat it and wear all your worries away, okay?
On May 10th, 1935, he's arrested leaving his hotel and charged with counterfeiting. The federal agents that caught him, they said, you got to be the best con artist of all time. He said, well, I can't be too good. You guys got me. So he had a key on him when they arrested him. It eventually turned out to be...
It is the key to greatest treasure in all land. If you want, you give me $5,000. I draw you map to location of treasure.
Draw you a map.
You have to wait 24 hours to take the first step.
Map look invisible.
Map look. It's invisible ink. I tell you, you take a boat to Egypt. You sit by a pyramid. You hold staff. It show you. It pinpoints. Sundial. It go. The ink appear again. You go down the river. It's a good time.
Cub Scouts, you need a light bulb and a piece of paper.
Do you
and
have
lemon
compass?
juice.
Do you have compass?
The key ended up being to a central terminal train station locker in New York, where he had the counterfeit plates, the chemical compound, and 51,000 in counterfeit bills.
Oh, fuck.
So he was caught pretty dead
Yep.
to rights.
Okay, you
It
got
was
me.
good run. Arrest me, don't arrest me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's it. He's trying to nag his way out like, oh, you want to arrest me? Go ahead, arrest me if that's what you want to do. Oh, you want to arrest me? Okay.
This isn't my key. This is Billy's key.
I totally don't even care if you arrest me. Look, I want you to arrest me. Please arrest me.
When they put him in prison, he was in the federal detention center. He got real sick, and they transferred him to a medical unit. When he's in a medical unit,
He was faking his heart attack again. Oh, Elizabeth, think up for me. I for real this time. This is a big one, I'm telling you.
Really, this time actually dial the number and call.
I'm dying of broken heart. My Billy, she killed me.
And which year did you say this was?
1935.
Okay, so he's 45 by now. All right.
Oh, maybe you count.
So while he's in this medical unit, he starts realizing, he figures out how they count the sheets. So he's able to steal a sheet a day. And he comes up with a...
Where's he keeping them?
Yes, dude. Is he the pioneer of the fucking sheet rope and shit?
Yeah. So he makes him a sheet rope that he
Stop.
fucking breaks out of his medical center with, and he shimmies down this rope. But since he's shimmying down the rope, he's in New York. You know,
I,
so
thought
he's coming.
I thought for sure he's gonna sell somebody a sheet. I thought that's what he was gonna do.
So at one point when he was climbing down on the sheet, he looked super suspicious because people were just walking around the city. He pulled a rag out of his pocket and started pretending like he was washing the windows on his way down to the ground and shit.
Don't mind me. I just window washer. I hang from sheet. It's okay. Imagine just walking down the street looking over like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. It's
What's
19.
that? And he goes, oh no, nothing to see here. Just that's fucking ridiculous.
So he actually gets away clean. And he runs from New York to Pittsburgh.
And those windows got to stay clean.
But he was caught 27 days later in Pittsburgh. He pled guilty and he was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. The problem of being in the 30s, being convicted of a crime after an escape attempt, is that on April 27, 1936, he was sent to Alcatraz, where he served in Alcatraz at the same time as Al Capone.
Hey, I know
Okay,
you.
I make boat out of sheets.
Hey, remember me? What are you doing here, old scoundrel?
He was in, he ended up having to do most of his time. By December 1947, he had made 1,192 medical requests. Most of which were declined.
Well, who's
I
counting?
keep having heart attack every day. I don't know. You tell me.
Eventually, it became obvious he was really sick. And then he was transferred for the federal medical facility in Springfield, Missouri.
Did he wash their windows?
He died in the Springfield, Missouri federal. He died in the federal Springfield. I can't say this. On March 11th, 1947, he died of pneumonia.
And where did that happen?
Springfield, Missouri, the federal medical facility.
Oh,
We made it through.
His death certificate listed his occupation as an apprentice salesman.
yes.
Apprentice salesman.
That's amazing.
I bet you if anything he would. Man, he can't make full salesman. He's got to be an apprentice. That motherfucker was a full salesman.
He
Selling
was
wolf
CEO
tickets.
of salesman.
Yeah. He was a salesman. He was selling fake shit.
Count Victor is credited with writing 10 Commandments of running a con. These are Count Victor's 10 Commandments of how to con someone.
So he's so good, he conned people into thinking he was Moses?
Yep. Here's how you do it, bro.
For the $1.95, you can know the secrets of the Count.
So
he parted the red bank.
Number 1 is be a patient listener. It is this not fast talking that gets a con man his coup. Never look bored. Wait for the other person to reveal any political opinions, then agree with them.
Rings true today. Genius.
Yeah, if you're trying to con somebody, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck yeah. I'm not getting the jab either, bro. Fuck yeah.
Getting the jab either.
This just reminds me of
Yeah.
this reminds me of fucking Wedding Crashers, like Rule 52. Never leave a crasher behind. Rule 53. Draw attention to yourself, but in a good way. Rule 42. Never sulk in the corner.
Stage 5 Biden supporter on the right.
Yes. Stage 5 Biden support.
Rule 4. Let the other person reveal religious views, then have the same ones. This is the weirdest of all of them. Hint at sex talk, but don't follow it up unless the other person shows a strong interest.
So flirt.
I don't know what that means, but that was one of his rules.
Yeah, just manipulating people, trying to get their...
That's called grooming.
No, I bet you that has to do...
Right?
Because it was sex talk. So that could be like, don't be vulgar. Like, because this is back in the day where maybe you just didn't talk about like that sort of shit.
Yeah.
So you just sort of wait for them to decide like how vulgar you're going to be when you're discussing shit.
Right,
Like,
do I
a
gotta
lot
make
of-
dirty jokes to fit in, or...
A lot
Well,
of
yeah,
these
if that
things are
person-
just, don't do anything controversial that will turn that guy off. Just sit quietly, let them do all the talking, and agree with them, and don't do anything to turn them off. That's like 4 of these commandments so far. Is just that. I mean, that's like a rule of etiquette. Like, that's not dinner talk. Just don't say anything that might turn them off.
I got you. But if you think about it, I mean, even though they are similar, if you think about it, if you were to hit the jackpot back in that day of conservative, like everybody's religious, nobody shows anything but ankle and calf, and like say you hit the jackpot and somebody was like willing to talk about sex and they were atheist or had a different religion than Christianity or whatever, and they were okay with fucking talking about sex, and you found out they were cool to do some illegal shit, then that was just like he said, that was his green light to just eat that one up. Like, okay, well, I know he's a mark for an illegal venture with me, not somebody I gotta make up some like quote unquote straight money shit to be able to get his cash. Like, this guy's willing to fucking do some illegal shit with me. That's easy money right
That's
there.
the easier scam.
Yeah.
Commandment number 6. Pass him joint and say, hey, you cool, man?
Well, and you got to figure, especially having gone from both Europe and Paris, but also to the Midwest, which is kind of like the Bible Belt also. You know, you're in France, they got like anarchists and nihilists and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking, hippie free love and whatever. And then you go here to the, Kansas, and you better love Jesus. And like you said, no ankles and stuff. So whichever world you got to float in. Next one was never discuss illness unless some special concern is shown. Never pry into a person's personal circumstances. They'll tell you all eventually.
This for real isn't even commandments of conning people. Like, this is like dinner party etiquette. If someone has a wonky eye, do not stare and do not mention it. If someone has an unpleasant odor, don't ask people who shit themselves.
Don't say mole. Moly,
Moly.
moly.
Mole, 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 mole. If you have to go to the bathroom, do not say you have to hit the shitter.
I gotta drop my deuces.
So-
Women do not find it complimentary to say they have a nice turd cutter.
The last 3 are never boast, just let your importance be quietly obvious. Never be untidy, and never get drunk.
Oh, we failed.
Well, I mean, besides that last one, like those other 2 were just rules for life. Like, yeah, don't be untidy and don't be arrogant.
So that's the story of Count Victor.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
That's it?
Was
Well,
that?
yeah, he died. That's the no. He
Apprentice salesman.
I thought he only
I was
faked it.
just joking.
No.
God, do you
Yeah.
really want everybody to know I faked death? Now he's French. Now he's finally French. I've been trying to get onto the French part the whole fucking time.
That was the con the whole time. He wasn't
Yeah.
Czechoslovakian. He was French this whole fucking time. Hello, I was born in a shack of stones.
You give me back my life, and I won't tell the devil that I conned you. Put me back on the earth.
Put me back on the earth.
All right, so
This motherfucker.
you guys haven't seen a picture yet, but if we were gonna cast a movie about Count Victor, who would you cast to play?
They already did. Leo playing Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
Right.
Frank Abagnale.
That's what I was picturing the whole
Ah.
time. But he was little.
But he was that was at smaller people time too, though. So 5'8".
People time.
Well, I'm just saying 5'8", 145 in the 20s wasn't as small as it is now. I mean, that's not even.
He's
Not
Uriah
big, but-
Fryver.
I mean,
What's that?
5'8's
What?
average height, right?
What's that guy's
Yeah.
Uriah Faber.
Yeah.
Uriah Faber's much smaller than that.
Oh.
Well, no, he weighs 145. You're right.
Yeah,
Good
but
pull.
the fact that that was more average back in the day just means like whoever plays him just has to be an average
Right.
size dude.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, because this is just such a fucking. It's a comedy. But the dude's got to be smooth, be able to be a good talker. I mean,
Good looking.
we haven't seen a picture of him, but I'd assume he's very
Oh,
good looking. Like to
it's
get
gotta
all the
be, like-
ladies. I was thinking someone like maybe Chris Pine. He does a lot of comedic stuff. He was in the first Horrible Bosses. He was the main bad guy in that one. He's been in some funny stuff.
I was thinking Matthew McConaughey.
He's sort of aged out. He's an
Well,
older dude now.
We didn't say right now he's gonna do it.
I mean,
well, I mean, he
could.
died in 47, so
But you gotta
he
think-
died at 57.
To me,
Gotta
I'm
give
thinking someone who's almost slapsticky enough to pull off. Do you see Matthew McConaughey hanging from sheets, fake washing a window?
That's
Like,
funny because I was gonna say Steve Martin.
See,
Because-
that's what I'm
Because
going. Something like
this whole time, like I know, but we've been
That's
doing the
funny.
silly accents, so I don't know if
Yeah.
I've like
Oh,
conditioned myself to think that it's somebody who's like, you know, like with a fucking like a perfect mustache, like looking down at the fucking people
Yeah.
while he's on
See,
the
I'm-
goddamn rope and shit.
I
and-
was honestly thinking like someone like Leslie Nielsen. If Leslie Nielsen was still alive, he would be good. But yeah, I mean, Steve Martin, like I'm thinking that slapsticky way, but I'm thinking of someone who can be Bill Murray, but he's charmed he's aged out. But someone that's like
he's
better.
charmed his way out too.
Yeah, he's charmed his way
that,
out.
that mean 80s charm ain't working no more, man.
But no, like I'm thinking that goofy dude, but someone that's just real good looking. That's why I was thinking someone like Chris Pine. Chris Helmsworth, I think, is too big of a dude. He couldn't do it.
So going recent, I know it's a popular one, but I was gonna say Ryan Reynolds because I remember like
yeah.
the scar and like the ladies loved him, and I mean fuck, at the beginning it sounded like he was charming male detectives in the way they were fucking describing him and shit. So anyways, I feel like somebody who's like a smooth talker and like he would have to be like attractive.
What
So-
about Justin Long?
Yeah, he would be good. Yeah, I could see him do it. I haven't seen Justin Long in anything in a while, neither.
he's snarky as fuck.
He made a fake college.
Yeah.
Maybe
But see, here's
Liev
the-
Schreiber. Maybe
here's-
Liev Schreiber could pull that off because he's got kind of like an Eastern European look to him, right?
Well, here's some pictures of Count Victor.
So excited.
Oh, Raul
Wait.
Julia?
Fucking
us
Christopher
again.
Lloyd.
Ooh, the dad from Modern Family. Pat Dunphy.
Phil Dunphy.
Phil Dunphy.
What'd you call him?
He's got a,
Pat Dunphy. But that dude,
It's Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell.
yeah, that's who I see. We definitely miscalled it on the good looking part.
Oh,
He must have been a very slick talker.
Who's
the
the
one
guy
on the
that-
left. The one on the left. If they did a movie when he was getting arrested and put away for the rest of his life and whatnot, Clark Gable could have pulled off the guy on the left a little bit. You know what I mean? From
Yeah.
period actors. The one on the right. That's why I said Christopher Lloyd. Cut his hair short. Maybe he had like that kind
Abe Vigoda.
of.
Yeah.
on this side, the guy from
That's that scar on the right. I'm sorry, on the left side picture, but on
Yeah.
the right side of his face, that's that scar you were talking about, huh?
Yeah.
That's a big
the
fucking
guy
scar.
from The Hustler.
Like, no, dude, put
Craig.
the
The guy
fucking...
from the
Oh,
Hustler.
Paul Newman?
Craig.
Excuse me, photographer, could you please put my shadow on the side of my cheek with the fucking scar? Well, I mean, or maybe that's a police photo or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a mugshot because it got the
all right,
numbers.
so you don't get to pick
You
your
know,
lighting
the-
in fucking mugshots.
The game show, The Hustler.
Oh, Craig Ferguson.
Yeah,
Because he's funny too.
and he's a charmer. Like, that's his main
Yeah.
thing, like always charming the ladies.
So here's a look at one of his prison records. So you see this up here, but this whole top section, this is all his aliases.
For the listeners, like, all those names, it's like a full paragraph. Like, I thought it was going to be like a brief summary of his crimes. That is not like the name section of the form. That's a full-on
What's
fucking
that one
novel.
So now we got to do the Defcon scale. So standard Defcon scale is 5 to 1, 5 being the lowest, 1 being the highest. On the Bad Guy podcast, there's no good guys. So 5 would be Lee Murray, who's your drug dealing, kidnapping, bank robber. And at 1, you have the Purple Gang, who's got multiple gang wars, multiple massacres, and are killing people on the street. So on a scale of Lee Murray to the Purple Gang, where would you rate Count Victor?
Can we go 6?
Who wants? Yeah.
Can he, like, trump Lee
Yeah.
Murray? Because he didn't mug anyone.
I mean,
all
he
did
definitely,
was-
but he definitely ripped a lot of people off.
But he didn't hurt anybody.
I mean, it depends what you said. Like, the one dude I really feel bad for is the scrapper guy.
Andre?
Yeah, because that shut down his business. Like, that was his whole livelihood.
You
Like, that
don't know
fucked
what it
everything
did.
up. I feel bad for that guy.
You live, you learn.
But just...
If his wife can forgive him, Andre
Yeah.
can forgive
Yeah.
him.
No, I mean, he's definitely a bad guy, but, like, he fucked a lot of people over. I mean, he's definitely a 5. He's still a dick, though.
This is my line of thought on it. We live in a day and age where, is this guy even around still? Madoff or whatever?
Madoff.
Madoff. Is that guy still, is he still alive? So
I
I
think
think
so.
if he is, and he's still in the clink, he's currently done more time than some people have for killing a person. Because after you get to a certain number level, I don't know if I've either been too drunk to pay attention on the episode before, and we've covered somebody who's possibly reached into the dollar amount, or like for a minute there, they were investigating this dude for possibly being able to manipulate our fucking economy. So I'm saying he's like Madoff level. So I want to give him a 4. Long story long, though, I got to come back on a 5. But I mean, it's a fucking struggle 5 because of the sheer amount of scams that he pulled off.
All right. So we're going to call that a unanimous Defcon 5.
That's right. It's going to the streets. Hey, y'all, it's revolution up in this bitch. Set the alarm. Defcon 5.
We're going to do some listener feedback. We got an email from Lloyd. I don't know where he's from.
Lloyd.
But it says, just wanted to thank you guys and Gail for making my
Me?
hour.
Ooh,
Me?
little old you.
Well, hey, Lloyd.
Thank you for making my hour-long drive twice a day to and from work bearable. You guys are hilarious. Always such a vivid storytelling and commentary. It's like I'm watching the movie about the bad guy. That's that vivid storytelling. That's me. I'm
Little
telling the
old
vivid
him.
stories, motherfucker. I've been working on it. You know, I'm getting better.
Sometimes when I listen to your talk, I'm like, God damn, it's so vivid.
See that shit, bro.
He's so smooth
I
and
see
vivid.
I don't even be stuttering and shit.
If they were going to make an effort...
That's in editing.
Yeah. If only you knew all the alrights that hit the fucking cutting room floor.
He sent a recommendation that I'm not going to read that we're going to try and cover. Like a,
Oh,
you know,
so we can't Google it?
right.
Mhm.
And what this was disappointing is he ended it with, he said, you need more DEFCON 1s. And this is at the end of the episode where he just
We just
hit
did
another DEFCON 5. Like a guy that just bullshitted his way through
5, possibly
decades.
6.
Yeah.
I don't know, when we did the math, they were all pretty even. How
Yeah.
many ones did we wind up with?
Yeah, it was about equal across the board.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one was a little higher. And shit. And
Yeah,
that's,
Lloyd.
well, and that's what it is it doesn't seem like a lot, but I try and mix them all in.
Probably
Yeah.
anything
Yeah,
worse
and-
than a 1 would be like serial killer.
Well, he wanted just more ones, like more often, like, and I get that, you know, everybody loves the hits. But, yes.
To be honest, like, compared to a lot of people, like, a lot of the ones we give 3s and shits we're still kind of one. We're
Like,
still
they're all still
bad guys,
killers and
but
shit.
we're just assholes, and we're just like, I don't know. I mean, I would kind of want to kill that guy too. So
Just like Lloyd said, though, if any of the listeners out there, send us your feedback on. I mean, if you feel like we messed up a Defcon rating, at least me personally, I would love to know. So thanks, Lloyd. If as long as you know, if you're agreeing that we've covered some ones and you agree that they're ones, or maybe even if you disagree that they're twos and maybe we should have made them ones, or just like you said, if you'd rather us just cover some worse dudes, Ben, that's great feedback, and I like it. So
Yeah, if you think
thank you.
if you think we should change the scale and get Lee Murray out of there and put this guy in his place, let us know. We can do that.
beat it, Lee Murray. Nobody wants you around.
Another guy we got is Leonardo. Hit us up on Instagram, and he listens to us. He says long, boring 12-hour night shifts, and he said, by the way, more Mexican bad guys would be nice. That's fair enough. We actually only covered one, I think, Chavez, and that was a long time ago. So
Did he mention me at all?
nope,
Well,
nope.
it's really because of those
Bet
Mexican.
500 today. But yeah, we appreciate the listener support and the feedback. So hit us up or email us or whatever.
Send us more emails about me.
Emails say hello to the bad guy podcast at gmail.com. Oh yeah, we're gonna do another series. So this is gonna be part 1 of our Con Man series. So that makes it even worse. He said do some DEFCON 1s, and we're gonna do like a whole series of people that are just like bullshitting.
Ooh, you know what we should do? Do a different set of. If we're doing a whole con man thing where we're not going to be. There's not a whole lot of bodies and shit. Should almost do a fucking DEFCON, like skewed DEFCON, like con man DEFCON.
Are you talking about a Defcon scale?
Like
A DEFCON man?
DEFCON scale.
Like a spin-off?
Yeah, like because like how bad are their cons? Like his biggest con is like
or how big, or
yeah, he almost fucked up. Like you said, almost made him a 4. Was he almost fucked up the whole economy, sort of shit. So where does that go on the con man scale? Because if all the con
say
men,
number 1. No.
ooh, scrapping
Ooh.
international monuments.
Lloyd, here comes the one.
Let us know, Lloyd.
Ooh,
we'll find a. We'll just make the guys we want to talk about be ones.
you know what?
Right, that's the American way. That's the recent way. Just alter the scale, man. If you don't like the data,
You know,
just change the fucking measurement.
Give me $5,000. We make a Victor a 1 right now.
Hey, for you, Lloyd, you know what? He's a 1. Fuck it.
Yep. Lloyd, just for you, this dude's a numero uno. Hit the scale. Hit the button.
Boop, 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 boop.
That's the DEFCON 1 noise. You got it, Lloyd. That boop boop was for you.
All right. Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1.
All right. Well, let's say hello to the bad guy. Thanks for coming, and thanks for listening.